Yes, hello all. Now we are going to discuss another package, SciPy. In the previous session, we discussed SynPy, right? So now we are going to discuss another package, which is SciPy. Okay. So before going to start with this SciPy package, I would like to give an introduction to this SciPy package. Okay. So its name is indicating it. Sci. Sci in the sense scientific Python. Okay, so whenever you want to perform any mathematic related or scientific related computations, mathematic and scientific computations, whenever you are performing mathematic and scientific related computations, then we most probably go with this SciPy package. Okay, this SciPy is based on NumPy package. Okay, we already discussed this NumPy, right? So what is this NumPy? This performs numeric operations, right? Num in the sense numeric. So whatever the numeric operations you're performing with this NumPy, the same operations can be done this by using this SciPy package. Okay, this SciPy is built on this NumPy. Okay, so why we need to go with this? Okay, so this SciPy is built on this NumPy. In the sense, this SciPy is advanced version of this NumPy package. Okay, and the another thing is this SciPy allows manipulations and visualizations. Whenever you want to manipulate your data and visualize your data, it is possible with this SciPy package. Okay, you can perform these manipulations and visualizations using this SciPy package. Okay, so this is about your SciPy. Okay, so you have NumPy and SciPy, right? We have said that this SciPy is built on NumPy. Okay, what are the differences between this NumPy and SciPy? Okay, so whenever you're performing some operations on NumPy, you're using data in the manner of arrays, right? So whenever you are dealing with data, you're first converting it as array. So whereas come to SymPy, it consists of numerics. Like whenever you want to perform any operations, you can directly work on those numerics. Okay. So in this in this SciPy package, we have some built-in sub packages. Okay. So this SymPy SciPy is a package. In this SciPy, you have some sub packages, which we are going to discuss in today's session. So the first sub package is special. Okay, the name of the package is special. Now we'll discuss first that special package, and then I'll give you the list of packages like sub packages which are available in your SciPy package. Okay, so before going to use it special, first you need to import that special sub package from SciPy package. So how to import that? First you need to write from SciPy import special. Okay, you are familiar with this syntax, right? From SciPy I'm importing special sub package. Okay, so in this special sub package we are going to discuss some built-in functions. Okay, so first we'll go with some functions related to exponential. Okay, first we'll discuss exponential functions. Okay, so if you remember, you can take exponential with base 10, right? So first we'll write some function, okay, with the base 10. Now I'm writing exponential base 10. Okay, this is available in this special sub package. Now I'm giving some value to this exponential 10 function. When I run this, can you see it is given some value, right? What is this value? How we got this value here? So whenever you are giving exponential 10, then it will give you. Let us suppose here we don't have any value. I'm indicating with some variable x. Okay. So this exponential 10. function will give you 10 power x value on the screen. Okay, here my x value is 10, right? It will give you 10 power 10 value on the screen. This is the use of exponent 10 function. Okay, similar to this exponent 10, we have exponent 2 also. But if you observe, here I'm giving only one value, right? If I want to calculate exponent 10 for multiple values, let us suppose I want to find out this exponent for some values like 2, 3, 4, 5. I want 10 power, 10 square, 10 cube, 10 power 4 and 10 power 5. So when you want to find out this exponent of 10 for multiple values, instead of writing this exponent of 10 of 2, exponent 10 of 3, 4, 5 like that, you can pass these elements into the exponent directly. Okay, how you can do that? We'll see now. I'm writing special exponent 10. Okay, what are the values you want to pass? You need to pass it as a list. Okay, now try to run this. Now you got the required output, right? So this is for 10 square and it is for 10 cube and this is for 10 power 4 and it is for 10 power 5. In this way, you can find out exponent 10 for multiple values. Okay, so this is exponent 10. In a similar way, we have exponent 2 also. Now I'm going to use that, and this exponent 2 is available in your special sub package. Now if I give some value like 5, what is 2 power 5? 32, right? Now when I run this, I'll get that 32 value on the screen. Okay, similar to this multiple values with exponent 10. So you can write this with special dot exponent 2 also. For this exponent 2 also, you can give some values, like I'm adding one more value here. Now when you run this, you'll get 2 power 2, 2 power 3, 4, 5 and 6 values on the screen. Okay, now if you observe, what is the return type? Is an array. Okay, this is returning array values. Okay, so now another function is log sum exponential. Okay, how this log sum exponential will work, we'll see now. Log sum exp. Now if you observe, the name is indicating that it will return logarithm sum of all the values which are there in your expression. Okay, now I'm passing it to my log sum expression. Okay, this log sum exponent computes the logarithm of sum of exponential input elements. Okay, all the elements exponential values will be calculated and that sum value, logarithm value will be returned by this log sum exp. Okay, you just try to understand what it is performing. What it is doing here, it is computing the log of sum of exponential input elements. The log of sum of exponential input elements. Okay, it calculates exponential values and adds those exponential value for each and every element, and the resultant values, logarithm value, will be written by this log sum exp function. Now I'm trying to run this. You'll get some value over here. Here, this is another method. Not only these exponent methods, we have some methods related to trigonometry also. Let us suppose I want to find out a sine value for 45 degrees. Okay, whenever you want to find out sine value for this 45 degrees, then we have a function in this special package itself. Okay, this function is sine dg. Okay, what is this sine dg? Sine degree. Sine degree value for degree is 45. When I run this, it will give you that value on the screen. Okay, let me do one thing. I'm writing special sine a dg of 90. It is 1, right? It is giving that value on the screen. So similar to sine, you have cos dg also. Like this, you can find out values for all the trigonometry functions. Okay, this cos dg will return the respective value on the screen. Okay, let me take some another number here. That is 45. Is sine 45 and cos 45 values are same, right? So we got same value. And here, whatever you are giving, value should be a numeric and it is measured in terms of degrees. The corresponding degree values, cos and sine values will be returned. In a similar way, you can use any of trigonometry functions. Okay. So another function from this special package is CBRT. Okay. So we know SQRT, right? This SQRT will give you square root of the given value, right? In the similar way, CBRT for cubic root. If I give 27, and this function is available from special subpackage. Now, if I write CBRT, when I hit on run, you'll get the cubic root of your given value. In the similar way, if you want to find out cubic root for multiple values, you can pass those values as list. Okay, let us suppose 2 cube is 8, 3 cube is 27, 4 cube is 64. Right? I want to find out cubic root for these three values. Now, can you see? I got cubic root value of all these three values. Cubic root of 8 is 2. So it is returning 2. The similar way, cubic root of 27 is 3. So I got 3 here and then 64. Clear? In this way, you can find out cubic root for multiple variables. Okay. So this is another function which is available in your special sub package. Okay. So not only this exponent and trigonometry related things, we have some functions, okay, which will be very useful for you. Okay. Those functions are performing the concepts called permutations and combinations. Okay, whenever you want to calculate permutation and combination values, we have some built-in functions for finding permutation and combinations, and those functions are defined inside the subpackage special. Okay, if you want to find out permutation, okay, for finding permutation we have special function called PERM. PERM will give you the permutation value. Let us suppose how will represent a permutation like NPR, right? Okay, so if you want to find out permutation for this permutation needs two values. One is indicating N and another is indicating R value. Okay, now I'm giving my N value as 10 and R value as let it be 3. Okay, now when you run this, you'll get that permutation value on the screen. See, what is the formula for this permutation? NPR. So whenever you are finding permutation, the formula is n factorial by r factorial, right? Now n factorial by r factorial is the formula. Now apply those values. 10 factorial divided by okay, 10 factorial divided by 3 factorial. Now calculate this value. You'll get this 720 on the screen. Okay, just try to calculate this 10 factorial by 3 factorial. You'll get value as 720. That value will be returned by your function PERM. Clear? This is for finding permutations. In the similar way, if you want to find out combination value, for that we have a function with the name comp. This com will give you combination value. Okay, what is the formula for this com? NCR, right? Okay, if you remember these things, what do you mean by permutation and what do you mean by combination? So here you'll be having the formula as n factorial by r factorial. Whereas come to combination, the formula will be n factorial by r factorial multiplied by n minus r factorial. This is a formula for finding combination, right? Now try to substitute those values. Okay. Now my n value is 10. I'm writing 10 factorial. And then you need to find out r factorial value, right? Okay. After writing this, the next thing you need to do here is finding r factorial. My r value is 3. So here we'll write 3 factorial multiplied by n minus r. That is nothing but 7 factorial. Okay, if you calculate this, what you'll get here, you can write this 10 as 10 into, you can write it as a 10 into 9 into 8 into, the remaining you can write it as 7 factorial, right? Okay, now I have written like this. The next thing I'm going to write here is, okay, you just consider it as underline, like now 3 factorial value is 6. Next multiplied by 7 factorial. Now just cancel this 7 factorial and this 7 factorial. Okay, next 3 2s are 6 and then 3 3s are, okay, 3 3s are 9, and then you can cancel this 2 with 8. Now here it will become 4. Now the final value will be 3 into 4 into 10, that is 120. Now when you run this combination of 10 comma 3, it should return 120, right? This is the formula for finding combinations, and this is a formula for finding permutation. Okay, only the differences will be adding this n minus r factorial. Now when you run this, you got that output, right? This is how you can use this permutations and combination functions from special sub package which is available in SciPy package. Okay, so these are the basic functions which are available in this special package. Not only these functions, we'll be having a lot of uh, different functions for performing your mathematic related operations. Okay, so this is for a special package. Now we are going with another package which is used to perform integrations. Okay, so the next one is for finding integrations. Okay, and the package name is integrate. Okay, this is the package name integrate for performing integration related operations. I just want to add it in this. The package name is integrate. Okay, this integrated for finding integrations. Okay, in this you can find integrations for single, double variables. Okay, not only single, double, you can find integrations for multiple variables also. Okay, now in this session we'll be discussing how to perform integration on single and double variables. Now I added some functions for that, so I just want to use these functions. Okay, so first here I want to use these two functions for calculating integration. Okay, so first I'll go with this. So if you observe here, I have only one variable, right? Okay, for finding single variable integration. Okay, for finding single variable integration, we have a function with the name quad. Just remember the function name quad. Okay, so whenever you want to perform integration on two variables. If you observe here, we have two variables x and y, right? So whenever you want to perform integration on two variables, you need to use the function double quad. Okay, the function name is double quad. That is nothing but dbl quad. We're not writing the whole word double. We're representing it with dbl. Okay, you just remember these two functions. How to perform all those operations we'll discuss now. Let us consider this as my function. Okay, on this function I want to perform integration. Okay, this a is my lower limit and b is my upper limit. Okay, and here I want to find out integration on two different variables. If you observe, this is my function and these are my lower limits and these are my upper limits. Okay, whenever you want to find out integration, you need to give lower and upper values, right? So you just need to remember that. So here I'm writing f of x, right? So here I need to provide some function. Let us consider my function as x squared. Okay, let it be as x squared. Here I have mentioned my function, right? So I'm using the same function 64xy and these are my upper and lower limits. Okay, for this function you need to give some lower and upper values. For this function I'm giving my lower value as 0. You can take any values. Okay, I'm taking it as 0 and upper limit as 1. Okay, so my function is x squared and lower and upper values are 0, 1. Now I want to find out integration on that function using this quad method, which is available in SciPy integrate sub package. Okay, now look at the screen once. Okay, so now I want to find out integration. Okay, here I'm taking my function as x squared. Okay, and my a value as 0 and b value as 1. Now I want to calculate integration on that particular function. Now before going to use that function, first you need to import that subpackage integrate from SciPy. I'm writing from SciPy import integrate. Okay, so now you need to create a function with the name f, right? Now I'm creating a function. Okay, my function is how to create functions. Here my logic is single line, right? So I'm using lambda function. I'm writing lambda x. My function block is x squared. Okay, so now use that quad function. Okay, just write down your quad here. Okay, this quad function expects three things from the user. Okay, what are those three things? First, you need to give your function. Here my function is f, so I'm writing f here. And what is the starting value, like lower limit? And what is the upper limit? You need to give these values. Okay, so now try to run this. It will take some time to import that value. So if you observe here, after calculating integration, it should return only one value, right? But it is giving two values. What are those two values? Actually, the first value, which is written by your quad function, if you observe here, see this quad function is giving you two values, right? The first one value is the integration value for the given function with respect to the variable, and the other value is estimated error. Okay, this is not the integral value. This is the estimated error value for this function. So whenever you are using this quad function, it will give you two values. And actually, this is the integral value and this is the error value. Okay, when you are calculating that integration, what is the error value? Which is written by your quad function. Okay, don't confuse with two values written by quad. Okay, this is how we'll find out integration on function with a single variable. Okay, now we are going to find out integration on two variables. Okay, so I have given that function, right? Let me drag that function to here. Okay, this is my function. So on this two variable function, I want to find out my integral value. Okay, we already imported that integrate package, right? So again, we no need to write that from SymPy integrate again. Okay, so now first create function. So similar to this, first create a function. Now I'm creating a function f equals to lambda. Okay, my function is having two variables, right? So I'm writing x comma y. What is your function? 64 multiplied by x, y. Okay, so next you need to create lower limit and upper limits, right? If you observe for these integrations, both the lower limits are zeros, right? And upper limits are different. If you take this, again we have some different notations, right? Square root of 1 minus 2y square. Okay, for this again I'm going to create a function here. Okay, so just try to understand this. I'm going to create different values here. Okay, so for this upper limit, I'm going to create another function for representing that upper limit. Okay, I'm taking some name with lambda. Okay, here we have only one variable, right? So I'm taking only one variable here. So you just understand, I'm creating this function for representing this square root of 1 minus 2y square. Okay, don't confuse with that. So if you want to find out square root, that square root of function is available in math module, right? From math module, I'm importing sqrt. Okay, now I'm going to use that sqrt here. I'm writing sqrt of 1 minus, okay, next 2y square. So 2 multiplied by y exponent 2. Clear? Now we got this function. Okay, so what we have written here, so this 64xy is indicated with the function f, and this square root of 1 minus 2 square is indicated with p. Okay, so if you want to find out integral on this function f with this lower and upper values, you need to use these functions. Now look at the screen how we are going to find out that. So I already told you, when you have two variables, you need to use DBL quad, which is representing double quad. Okay, now use that function DBL quad, and here you need to pass the function first. Okay, and then what is the first lower value? That is 0. And what is first upper value? 2 by 4. And the next lower value 0, and the next upper value is p. Am I clear with this? So in this way you need to pass values. Now when you run this, you'll get some value on the screen, right? So this 3.0 is the calculated integral value. Okay, and this value represents error value. Similar to quad, it is also returning two values, right? So first one is the calculated value for the integration. Okay, if you consider it as integral value, you can consider it as integral value, and another value is error value. In this way, you can uh, write your integrations with double variables, nothing but two variables. In this way, you can find out integrations with functions. Okay, so this is the use of integrate package subpackage in SciPy package. Finding integrations, you can go with this. Okay, and the next sub package which we are going to discuss here is linear algebra. Okay, the next package from SciPy. Okay, linear algebra. This linear algebra is represented with linalg. Your sub package name is lin algebra. Okay, so now what are the things you can perform with this linear algebra? Okay, let us suppose I have a matrix. Okay, let me write it here. So I have a matrix. I want to find out det. Do you know det? So I want to find out det of this matrix. Let me write here as 8, 15, 7 and 3. This is my matrix. Okay, I want to find out det of this matrix. So how to represent this matrix? You need to represent it as array. Okay, so whenever we are writing matrices, you need to represent it as arrays. Then how to create arrays? Using NumPy. Okay, so you don't worry about all these things. First, we'll discuss what is det. What is det of a matrix? Okay, so first you need to consider a matrix like A, B, C, D. Okay, so for this 2 by 2 matrix, det value will be AD minus BC. Okay, you go back to your mathematics, you'll find all these things. The det value is AD minus BC, sorry. Okay, now if you want to find out det value for this matrix, what is the det value for this matrix? It will be 8 multiplied by minus 3, next minus 15 multiplied by 7. Okay, so here 8 multiplied by minus 3 will give you minus 24, right? What is 15 sevens are 105, right? Now the value will be minus 129. Yes or no? The final value is 129, right? So if you want to find out det of any matrix, then you can use the function det, which is declared inside this linalg sub package. Okay, so first you need to create an array from NumPy package and use that array as your matrix to find det value. Okay, now first import this linalg from SciPy package. From SciPy, import linalg. Okay, now your linear algebra sub package is imported. Now what you have to do? You need to import your NumPy package, NumPy as np. Okay, and then I'm creating an array, np.array of, I'm giving some values. I want two-dimensional array, right? First value is 8, 15, and in second row, I want to give 7 minus 3. Okay, I want to store this array in some variable arr. Now use linalg of arr. What should be the value? Minus 129, right? Linalg dot det. I'm not using that function name. Okay, linalg dot det will give you det value of your matrix. Now when you run this, it will give you that matrix value on the screen. Okay, this is for finding date value. Okay, now if you want to inverse that matrix, okay, inverse matrix, if you want to find out inverse matrix, you just go through what is inverse matrix. In the documentation I'll provide how to find out inverse everything, but as of now you just go through this matrix related things. Okay, now I want to find out inverse matrix. Then in your Lin algebra sub package you'll be having a function inv for inversing the matrix. Yes, I'm writing inverse of ARR. So this is my inverse matrix for the array 8, 15, 7, minus 3. Okay, so this is how you can find out inverse matrix also. Okay, and then you're familiar with these eigenvalues, right? Eigenvalues and eigenvectors. So if you don't know this, I suggest you to go through these things first. Okay, so if you want to find out eigenvalue and eigenvector of your matrix, then you'll be having a function, okay, in this linalg subpackage with the name EIG. This EIG will give you eigenvalues and eigenvectors. Okay, so it is returning two values, right? So you need to store it in two variables. Okay, let me take one variable as eigenvalue and I'm taking another variable as eigenvector. Okay, now try to run this. Now values are stored in your variables. Now when I display this, these are my eigenvalues. Okay, if I use this eigenvector, okay, these are my eigenvector values. I request you to go through this eigenvalue and eigenvectors once, and what is inverse matrix. Okay, these are some basic things which are available in this linear algebra, like finding data and inversing your matrix, finding eigenvalues and eigenvectors using this lin al package of SciPy. Okay, so not only these basic mathematic operations, you can work with images also. Okay, see if you want to work with images, we'll be having some packages. Okay, so if you want to work with images, you'll be having two different packages. Let me go with the next thing, that is image processing with SciPy. Okay, in this image processing we'll be using two sub packages, that is nd image and we'll be using MISE. This MISE for importing some images. Okay, and this nd image for performing some operations on images. Now you look at the screen once. So what we are going to do here, from MISE will be importing some image. Okay, based on that imported image we are going to perform some operations. Okay, first import that MISE from SciPy. I'm writing from SciPy import MISE. Okay, and I want to view that image on the screen, so you need to import matplotlib. Okay, from matplotlib import pyplot as plt. Okay, else you can write import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. You can write any of these ways. So mostly we'll work with images using numpy. So I'm importing numpy also. Import numpy as np. Okay, so now my requirement is I want to import an image from this MISE package. Okay, so I'm writing MISE dot face. Okay, this MISE dot face will give you some image here. I'm storing that image in this variable. Okay, now I want to display that image on the screen. So whenever you want to display any image, you need to use IMShow. Okay, this IMShow will display that image on the screen. plt.show. Now try to run this. It's not displaying the image. Yes. Now the image is displayed on the screen, right? Now we got some image on the screen. Now you just don't worry about this logic. So what are the operations you can perform on this image? You just need to understand here. Okay. So now my requirement is I want to flip down that image. Okay. So whenever you want to flip down that image, you have some built-in function in this NumPy package with the name flip ut. Okay. So this makes your image flip down. Okay, the image is available in this mic.face function. Okay, so what it will give you, that flip down image, right? So what you have to do, you need to display that image using this IMShow function. Okay, now try to run this. Can you see your image got reversed, right? Like a flip down, right? Now earlier it was like this, and now it is flipped. Okay, if you want to rotate your image, even you can rotate your image also. See, we are performing some geometric operations, right? Like flipping down and rotating image. Now we are going to rotate image using nd image sub package. Now I'm writing nd image dot rotate. Okay, so where is your image is stored? In the variable panda, right? So how much angle you want to rotate? Let us suppose I want to rotate 135. Okay, and then I want to display that rotated image on the screen. Okay, I'm writing plt.imshow nd image dot rotate. Okay, so this rotate is available in this nd image sub package of SciPy. Now try to run this. Nd image is not defined. Acha, we need to import that. We imported only mi seed, right? So you need to import nd image. Sorry, I forgot to import that. I thought I imported nd image at the time of mic importing itself. Now try to run this. Can you see? Now my image is rotated 135 angle, right? Earlier it was like this. Now it is rotated to 135 degrees. So these are the basic operations like you can perform on your images using this nd image and MIC sub packages. Okay, I don't want to scare you with all this stuff. See, in this code, I'm just importing the packages and then I'm taking some image with face function and I'm storing it in some variable panda and then I'm displaying that image. See, if you are not writing this, then also it will work. Okay, after loading the image, now using this a flip ud function, I'm making my image flip down, and using this rotate function I'm making my image rotate to 135 degrees. Okay, these are the basic operations which you can perform with your SciPy package using nd image and MISC. Okay, not only image processing, you can work with files also. Okay, now we'll discuss file input and output package. What is this file input and output package? And this package name is represented with IO. Okay, the file name is IO. So whatever the different files you can handle. See, in pandas we discussed how to handle CSV files, right? So majorly we are going to discuss MATLAB files here. Okay, those MATLAB files extension will be .mat, right? So now we are going to discuss that MATLAB files here. First import your required packages. Okay, now I'm using NumPy for creating an array. Okay, why? Because so now I'm going to deal with .mat files. Okay, so what I'm doing here, first I'll create an array. Okay, just understand the steps what we are going to discuss here. Create an array and store that array in some file. Okay, in .mat file, create .mat file and store that array in the .mat file. Okay, after storing that, see, this is for creating a file, right, and storing that array into that file. After storing that, do one thing, whether that array is stored in the .mat file or not. You need to check that, right? So load that file first. Load that file and then display the content. So these are the steps which you are going to perform now using this IO subpackage, and display the content. Display the content of .mat file. Okay, these are the steps we are going to perform now. Okay, look at the screen once. First import NumPy package for creating an array, and then import SciPy. From this SciPy, I'm going to import IO. You can give some alias names also if you want to give. Let me give some alias name SciPy input output. Okay, so now I already told you, right? First create an array. Okay, let me create an array with ones. So I want to store all my array values as ones. If you remember this function, this ones will create with the given dimensions. Now I'm giving 4 comma 4, right? It will create 4 by 4 array with all the values as ones. Now I'm storing it in some array. Okay, let me take it as ARR. Okay, so now I created array, right? I want to store this array in some file with the extension .mat. Okay, use this package name SIO. The function is save mat. Okay, using this save mat, you need to save your array. What is the file name you want to give? Let us suppose I want to give my file name as example.mat. Okay, next, what you want to store in that file, and with object name you need to give here. Okay, I'm giving my object name as AR, and what you want to store here, my array ARR. Okay, so this is how you'll save your array in some mat file. The name is example and the extension is .mat. Now your array is saved in this example.mat. So if you want to load the data, okay, this is the step for storing array into mat file. Okay, so now if you want to load the data from mat file. How to load the data from mat file? Whenever you want to load the data from mat file, you need to use the function which is available in that IO sub package, that is load mat. Okay, save mat for saving and load mat for loading that data. Let us suppose my file name is example.mat. Okay, so if you observe, so what are the arguments which you need to pass it to load mat? Why it is not loading? Okay, let me keep it as empty and check. The shift tab is not working here. Okay, no problem. Okay, this load mat. This load mat will have some argument with the name struct as record. Okay, how your variables are there, or how the content is available in your mat file. If you want to record them as it is, then you need to use this struct as record. Okay, so I'm not able to show those arguments or parameters which are there in that load mat. Okay, now what you want to load on the screen. Here you have given some name for your array, right? So use that name here, AR. Okay, now try to run this. So can you see? This is the content which is added in your mat file. Okay, if you want to check whether this example.mat is created in the folder or not, you just go to your folder and check. Okay, let me go to my folder. Where I have created this SymPy and SciPy, right? Now, if you go to that, you'll find a file with the name example.mat. Okay, not only mat extension files, you can go with different extensions also. Okay, not only mat, you can go with some different extensions like wave, arff, csv and text files also. You can save your data into that, and you can extract data from that. Okay, these are the basic operations which you can perform on your arrays using this save and load. The save for saving your mat file, and this load for loading your mat file. Nothing but extracting content from your mat file. Okay, these are the different sub packages which are available in that SciPy package. Okay, I have given an idea of what are the sub packages available in your SciPy package. Okay, we have discussed IO, next ND image, and next we used MISC, and we discussed lin LG, right? So not only these sub packages, will be having lots of sub package, but I have given an introduction to these sub packages only. Okay, I request all of you to go through these different packages which are there in your SciPy. In the document, I'll mention the different sub packages available in this SciPy. Okay, I'll add some resources for this. Just go through those resources. This is just an introduction to your SciPy package. I hope it is clear for all. Okay, so that is it from my end. Thank you.